Hello and welcome to the show. We are back at the Wreckoning with 3 more vehicles, starting with a car that the question isn't really can it beat the Evo 9, isn't really can it make it onto 4 laps, it is how long before the drive shaft gives out, because the Barstow is notorious for having a glass drive shaft. It will die. If this car makes a lap, I will be amazed. It's kind of a shame. The Barstow is quite cool in that it has a unique sort of front subframe that in high-speed impacts can be torn apart. The front end of the car can be ripped off, which is really neat. We're not going to see that happen here. We are not going to see that happen here because the drive shaft will die long before it gets damaged enough for that to happen. I expect, at least. Just these small bumps could see the drive shaft die. Now, I have gone for a relatively high-spec Barstow. We've got plenty of speed in this car while it's not supercharged or anything. Still got a pretty damn powerful engine. Come on, land nicely. Okay, we've made a jump. We have made a jump without the drive shaft giving out. The front suspension actually got really unhappy on that landing. I think we pretty much killed all the front suspension. If the front suspension took the damage, not the drive shaft, I'm perfectly happy with that. And another jump. Ooh, we're across that as well. Can we make it 3 jumps? Yeah. I have serious doubts. Hell, I have serious doubts about these bumps. These bumps could very easily snap the drive shaft. In fact, the suspension isn't exactly surviving very well on this car. It's only been going half a lap, and we've already pretty much collapsed all of it. Yeah, this is a destructive track. I reckon it is a hell of a circuit to take these cars around. The Caldera kept going. Yeah, if we make this 3rd jump, I expect it to die here, quite frankly. I hope not. I hope we might be able to get everything right and that we won't die here. But I am fairly confident that this is going to be the death of it. It isn't! It got. I don't know how on earth it got away with that. I don't know how on earth. That rear suspension is utterly... Look at the rear. The rear right wheel is wibbling all over the place. It's all completely and utterly disconnected. Okay, we've got to try and get past the pit. If we can make it past the pit, we will go further than the AWS Pessima, and the Barstow won't be in last place. That would not be an outcome that anyone was expecting. Come on, don't break it. Oh, we're still alive. Oh dear. Well, car, you have exceeded my expectations. The rear axle is twisted beyond belief, and the chassis is completely buckled. We might actually have real issues getting across the river without pulling off the drive shaft or the potholes. Oh, we've got problems with the front wheels. Front wheels heavily damaged. So even if this car doesn't have the drive shaft kill it, it is not as strong as the Moonhawk. It is really nowhere near as strong as the Moonhawk or the Caldera, or I expect the Eluda as well. That hasn't run around here yet, but I have no doubt that is going to survive longer than this car will. Or please make it... I want you to make it past the big jump. I want you to make it past the big jump on lap 2. That has claimed so many victims. We are in big trouble, though, down here. No, out of the potholes, because that will kill you. I know that will kill you. I've avoided them the best I could with the wonky steering, but the steering is really poorly. We've made it onto a 2nd lap. It is an achievement in itself for the Barstow. That is far exceeded expectations around this circuit. We're going to get some big oversteer moments. We're fine. The steering, knackered. Suspension, knackered. Axle, completely and utterly out of position. But we continue. We march on. Now, if we can make it across this jump and live, that would be a massive victory. That might even be the biggest surprise of this series over the Evo's 5 laps here. If this can survive another tour... Oh, it's not going to survive another tour of this jump. That's it, dead. I couldn't fight the steering. I tried everything. I fought the steering as much as we could. That's the drive shaft gone. That will be the Barstow done for. However, the astonishing thing is it made it onto its 2nd lap, and that has killed a lot of cars. It was the steering damage as well that did the worst of it in many ways. The fact I have to constantly fighting that steering. We never really saw the Barstow live long enough to get into any sort of trouble around the Baja Rama circuit. It isn't particularly strong in every other department either. Drive shaft still what will kill the car, but a surprising showing indeed. Up next, we have got perhaps one of the most entertaining cars from the Baja Rama circuit. That, of course, is the all-wheel steer Pessima. Now, while it has got much improved sort of turning circle, with the rear wheels doing some of the steering, they are perhaps slightly weaker and certainly act in a slightly different way to the standard car. And that meant, as they took damage at the Baja circuit, they ended up folding underneath the car and acting like skid plates. Was very, very entertaining and very silly. But what they're going to make of this circuit, I do not know. You see, the Wreckoning is a lot more punishing circuit, certainly on wheel axles, on suspension, and on drive shafts. So we might expect to see the wheels brake considerably easier, considerably quicker, potentially. But likewise, we could end up in trouble with the front wheels. It's a front-wheel drive car, and we break the front wheel axle, and that'll probably be a game over for us. Come on, Pessima, we're across the first jump, which is good. No major damage to report from that. Now try and carry as much speed as we can around the outside of that corner, make it across the next jump. We are all going okay. Yeah, the rear of this car does kind of bounce, you see it there, it bounces around quite a lot, and I'm guessing that might be, it might just be the way the Pessima drives. I don't think the all-wheel steer sort of setup at the back is particularly helping the car here, but we are still going. Now, the model that we're using isn't a horrendously powerful Pessima. We've not got massive turbochargers and a massive engine and so on, but it is still relatively fast, and I'm hoping it's going to be enough, at least for a little while, to carry speed around this course, make it across the big important jumps like we are coming up to here. For example, oh, perfect, actually. Well, we might go for a little bit of a spin. That is the least of my concerns. You can, it's not that common. We haven't always say it's not that common. We haven't really seen it in this series, probably because we're not going quite fast enough at a lot of the time. But very, very high-speed spins like that, for example, if you're skidding along the road, you can cause a lot of damage to the wheels, kind of have them fold underneath and get damaged, etc. We're nowhere near going fast enough there. It's a very sort of low-speed spin. Yeah, we skidded down the road a fair bit, but oh, that's not good. That's not good. Oh, okay, radiator's gone. That's, I thought that was going to go worse. We kind of bobbled our way up the top of the hill, and as we left to try and jump over the pit, the rear of the cart just pinged itself. Rear of the car, sorry. Pinged itself up into the air, almost did a front flip. In some ways, actually, landing on the roof is better than landing on the wheels. You know, the roof will take some damage, it'll compress, and that'll take the energy out of a crash, at least once. After a couple of times, the car being on its roof, there's nothing left to compress, so you're still crashing down onto the chassis, and that time is at weird angles, and that's probably not helpful. We're going to want to try and avoid the potholes. We do have the steering at the moment to be getting away with that, be able to run along this side, although they are going to, well, there's nothing you can do about the last few. You have to cross over them, but we're going fast enough that we can aim the car, and we've got the controls to aim the car across them nicely. Now, with the radiator gone in this, oh god, we're having issues getting the car turned. I don't quite know why we're having issues there. We should be okay in towing. With the radiator gone, I mean, the engine is a ticking time bomb. It will overheat eventually, but the engines aren't preheated, so there's a little bit more leeway for cars to keep on going. We have only seen a few vehicles go out through overheating. I would be perhaps surprised to see this one go from that, but maybe not completely and utterly impossible. Up towards the lap 2 big jump, we are once more across there neatly. Landing again quite heavily on the nose, but it's landing in the middle of the nose. We're not landing on the wheel axles, and that is kind of the important thing here, is that we fly as flat and level so that at least any impacts are shared across the car. Well, we've got a little bit of bending going on one of the front wheels. The rear wheels aren't doing their flappiness as of yet. I'll just put the strength of this up because we're having issues getting the car to twist over. That'll do. Right, let's find a gear somewhere in all of there. We will get going once more. Yeah, a little bit of camber on the front left primarily. Front left primarily damaged. Front right isn't exactly great either. The rear wheel's surviving better at the moment. Maybe it was just a freak accident, the way that we broke it at the Baja Rama circuit, or perhaps the stresses, the loads that circuit puts on the car, they are going to be different to the ones that it's facing around here. Very different, in fact, the ones it's facing around here. And we just haven't really hit the back of the car on anything as of yet. If we do overload the rear wheels, the rear suspension, see what happens, or, you know, if we get into a scenario where that is the case. We are struggling now for speed up the hills. That is an issue. We've actually got a lot of front left suspension damage going on. Ooh, we're going to go for another tumble. The front left's completely just completely collapsed over there. Roll over, Pessima. Front left is basically on the floor. The exhaust is dragging along the ground. Oh, the exhaust is gone. That's actually good news in many ways. Get that out of the way. Or both the front wheels. We are going to have a buckled chassis in no time at all. And I think the overheating, we are struggling with power. Oh, one of the rear wheels is about to go under. We might get a flappy rear wheel, potentially. The rear left, if we hit it any more, might go underneath the car. We're going to go for a tumble. Oh, that took out a front wheel. Don't go in the water. God damn it, that would not be good. A front wheel has gone in the Pessima. I saw that as it got to the landing. Now, the interesting thing here... Ooh, what is going on with the steering? Ah, yeah, okay, so we have got a wheel down. And now, the wheel axle isn't broken. Just the steering arm, essentially, is gone. So that wheel has still got drive. The wheel's still got power, so the diff isn't going to just kind of brake with this being a front-wheel drive car, and I'm curious to see if the rear wheel steer, if any of it's still working, will be able to help this car get around corners. It doesn't really look like it at the moment. We are having big steering issues. Big steering issues are going on. We're just about still on the course, so I'm happy to let the car continue, and we are about to make it back onto the road. It's the front wheel is kind of dragging the vehicle around. Now, if we can make it to the banked corner, we can probably limp our way. I mean, we're not, it's not in the cruiler rule. We are perfectly capable of achieving 20 miles an hour plus. Oh god, it's just going to go straight on, isn't it? At the top of the hill. Come on, Pessima. Do not give up. I'm not going to give up on you. You're not quite so flappy wheels this time around. You are more, crawly wheels for the moment. Come on, get around this next corner. Use the banking. The issue we're going to have is as we head onto Pothole Alley, we are really going to be limited to our options in terms of steering. Wherever this car is going to be dragged by the steering is where it's going to go, and that will cause problems, especially for a car with as ruined suspension as this one. And we need to go fast enough that we don't actually get stuck on a pothole. We need a bit more speed, Pessima, and we may get thrown into the wall. But if it can keep going, there is a third lap beckoning. A third lap is beckoning for the car. Come on, Pessima. You can, maybe do this. It is now dragging us around the corner. That's okay. I can live with that. We've actually sort of got that front wheel in a position that is eminently drivable. The sad news for the old Pessima here is that we are going to come up towards a very big jump that we are not going to be able to get across. Quite frankly, it's going to claim another victim. It's going to claim another victim. We've got 40 miles an hour coming up here. I've almost lost steering. We might actually have bigger problems here. Bigger problems have occurred. I can't get that car out of there. I don't know. Okay, we've fallen off the course. Can we get back on the course without having to grab reverse? I don't think we can. I think the steering is going. It's coming down the hill. The steering was too dodgy. We are almost able to make it. I don't now technically not use reverse. Technically not use reverse here. Now we have used a hill. If that wheel could stay pointing in the way that I need it to, if we can drag the car out of here, it would be a miracle if we could. Come on, Pessima. It's gonna do it. No, don't say that. Don't say that. Don't say that until it's got itself out. It has. It's got itself out. The wheel. Oh, if that wheel is going to betray us at some point, I have no doubt. Oh, no. I think one of the rear wheels was also helping. That was a very, very odd steer. I think one of the rear wheels... I think one of the rear wheels might have snapped itself. The steering's gone. We dragged it out, but it's just too broken to carry on. It didn't go flappy wheels, but it did go out in spectacular fashion. Hell of a lot of damage acquired around various parts of the car. In the end, the steering, I think the all-wheel steer system might have betrayed it towards the end of that, because that was, it just, once we got it back on the road, it was just crabbing completely out of control, but it hadn't been doing up until that point. I wonder if the reverse down the hill into a tree might not have helped, but it put on a show, and at the end of the day, that is what we want to see. And our final vehicle for the day is the Pigeon. Now, a Pigeon 1. Driven till destruction. It survived the longest around the Baja circuit. Now, it wasn't this version. I am using the 600 Pigeon. Now, this car also came in the top 10 of that series. Actually, one of the lower tier Pigeons that lasted almost onto its 5th lap around Baja Rama. But around this track, taking on the Wreckoning, speed is important. The Pigeon has a tiny engine, that is very true, but it is relatively light. So I am hoping that the 600cc one will be able to accelerate fast enough, because we know the front wheel is very strong. Now, that's likely what's going to kill it. Oh, if I don't bid it into the bridge support. That was a sudden slide across the bumps. The front wheel is very strong, but of course, being only one, you lose that, it is game over. So, we've got to hope for the best. Let's say we've got to hope for the best. We've also got to be wary of these bumps. The Pigeon, being so small and light, does get chucked about a lot more than a, well, big, heavy car, for example. Are we going to be quick enough to make it across the first jump? Oh! We made it. We did make it across the jump. The bad news is, in pristine condition, the Pigeon only just did it, which makes me fear for this car as it gets worse and worse, because, well, already the steering is pulling quite badly. Now, sometimes you can, with the way that it's got twisted, sometimes it can fix itself. Now, it's rare, but it isn't impossible for the wheel to get twisted back the other way without snapping off. And if any car it can happen on, it's likely to be the Pigeon, quite frankly, because of, I know that the strength in that front wheel. We've seen this car tumble its way down mountainsides in the Canyon Rally and been put through all sorts of horrendous ordeals and kept going. As I said, Baja Circuit, it lasted almost 5 laps, or almost onto its 5th lap, I should say, with the front wheel taking a batter on every single jump. So, yeah, it might be able to do it. The issue we're going to have here is that I've got all sorts of wiggles going on. Now, in some ways, that might save the front wheel. The way that we left that jump meant all of the force got, well, went through the body of the car, essentially. Now, it's not going to do other parts of the chassis any good, other parts of the vehicle any good whatsoever. But when we're trying to make it further around this course, just spreading the damage out over the entire vehicle is very, very useful indeed. Although the steering is very twisted now. This isn't something that we really came across at the Baja Rama circuit for the Pigeon. Just the forces going on through the front of the car is so much greater here. This track punishes slow cars a lot more than Baja ever did. Oh, we're going to go for a sweet barrel roll. We've not had one of them go on of a vehicle yet. The fuel tank's ruptured. The rear axle is all completely twisted out of place. But we are still going. We're not going to be last place in the Pigeon. I don't think we're going to go and lead it. We're probably not even going to be top 10. We've got issues. Fuel is leaking out of the bottom of this car. I think I actually heard it catching fire on the ground, and we're going to spin. We might have... I didn't actually know you could rupture the fuel tank. I've never done that in the Pigeon. Well, we might have similar issues that we had with the ETK. I think this might might run out of fuel. Oh... We've lost all power. We've lost all power completely. We're not even out of fuel yet, and that just gave up around that corner. I'm really struggling with the steering of this car now. There is nothing, or very, very little in the way of steering that I can do through here. I'm trying to carry any speed to make it onto a second lap before we run out of fuel. It's not going to work. It's not going to work. That's going to die. In fact, it's going to die there. That's why we've got trouble with the steering. The front wheel was completely twisted. Admittedly, I think that crash there at the end might have just bent it a little bit further, but the fuel tank was gone. That is a new one for the Pigeon. Haven't seen the ruptured fuel tank on this ever before. Just the way we twisted. As I said, survive, or kind of savior of the front wheel damage, but can take out other bits of the car. Fuel tank in this case. That being said, the steering was knackered. I'm fairly confident this probably wouldn't have survived Pothole Alley, even if it was in pristine condition. I say pristine condition, sorry, even if it wasn't the fuel tank that was running out. I think Pothole Alley would have been the final nail in the coffin for the steering of this car, seeing as well. That's what we have at the moment. That's not going to be going anywhere, even if the engine worked. So the Pigeon is down. It isn't last place. It isn't last place. It does beat the I-Series and sort of the Stance Pessima and that lot, but it's certainly not a strong car. Nowhere near as strong a car around here as it was at the Baja. So on to our results table, and the all-wheel steer Pessima becomes the sixth vehicle to make it on to its third lap, although with the steering giving up, it couldn't quite make it as far as the H25 Vandal, although that is a very good showing from the, well, essentially sports coupe. It's gone further than a couple of full-on off-road vehicles, the Hopper Classic, the D-Series Blazer, so yeah, good show. Not quite the spectacular flappy wheels mess that we had last time out, however, impressive in some different ways. Still a fairly spectacular failure as well. The Pigeon 600 would not fare so well going out on its first lap. It crashes ever so slightly further down the road than the I-Series. The fuel tank ruptured, it kind of stopped the engine running. The steering was dead as well at that particular point. Pothole Alley put pay to that. Now, we've got a little bit of a zoomed-in map for, well, this section of the track. Lap 2 across this big jump has claimed many victims so far, and the Barstow is added to that list. The drive shaft going on that car. The fact, though, that it even made it onto its second lap is remarkable, because, yeah, we've seen the Barstow before. The Baja rubber circuit just falls apart so quickly. It was, yeah, I think quite lucky in some ways. The way it was landing the jumps was just about enough to cushion the blow for a little while, but in the end, the drive shaft would give out. It does beat the 200BX Cup car. It is only a smidge behind the Moonhawk Daytona. But, yeah, overall, a better performance than I and probably many of you would have expected. That, though, is going to be it for this video. As ever, I shall link all the mods I've used in the description, so you can download them, have a go with them yourself. But thank you very much for watching, and until next time, goodbye.